Hello everybody, and welcome back to my wood shop. Something special on the lathe today. Gonna combine all these chunks of wood together and make a pretty bowl, hopefully. So this chunk of Zebrano is going to be the base of the bowl. And the walnuts I'm cutting into 16 segment rings, and I'm making 2 rings, and they're going to sit on top of the Zebrano. And at this point I ruled out the maple because it was just too bright. It didn't really match, and I thought the walnut would look better by itself, since there's a little bit of color variation in that wood, which you'll see. I glued up the 2 rings and let them sit overnight. The Zebrano by itself was about 10 inches in diameter, but with the 2 rings this bowl is going to be about 14 inches in diameter. So I ran these rings through the drum sander quite a few times, and I thought I had it done right, but this step is going to come back to haunt me, because one of those segments, or maybe 2 of them, were a little bit low, and I just didn't see it. I'll point that out along the way, you'll see. So I'm just using that faceplate to mount this to the lathe, and then I'm going to make it round, and then establish the foot, or the bottom of the bowl, and just basically shape the base. I'll end up taking a little bit more off once I get the rings mounted, but the basic shape will be there for me. So here I'm just marking the bottom of the bowl for the foot. This ring right here will be marking the inside of the foot, which will also be the mortise, which the 4-jaw chuck will be holding onto in expansion mode. And this little inside ring here that I marked is for my little ID tag, the little coin. So now that I've got the basic shape that I want, I will completely finish the outside and bottom of the base here as is written on the screen. All I'm doing here, now that I have the base reverse mounted, is I'm sanding the surface flat. That way the rings will glue up nicely to it. And I'm just going to use the lathe and the tailstock pushed up as basically a vise to press these rings on. So here I'm just using Tight Bond 2 or 3, the green stuff. Applying the rings, and I'll move up the tailstock, apply some good pressure with that round piece of wood, and let it sit for about 5 hours, which is plenty of time.
I'm just going to pretend I didn't see that. Much better.
So that's just a little puddle of glue, no worries at all. The glue between the boards is holding firmly. So what I'm looking at here is what I referenced earlier at the drum sander. It's a low spot and it left a gap. I'm not sure how deep that gap went, but I'm hoping that I can push through and eliminate that flaw. We shall see. And it's at this point right here that I notice something special going on. This is going to be one flashy bowl. And this is a few coats of very thinned out shellac. And look at that walnut. There's even some figure in some of those segments. And right there's the flaw. We're going to go ahead and leave that there and call it character though, because this bowl is just way too pretty to discard. And that's really not even noticeable. Unless, you know, I tell you about it, which I guess I just did. Let me know what you think. Even with the character, I'm really happy with this bowl. Look at that. Look at that. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time. It means a lot to me. I'm both humbled and honored that you want to spend time with me in my shop. And there's some food for thought for you. God bless, and Semper Fi.